Welcome to Narrow Ground Entertainment. I'm Steve the Unimpressed, and this is Steve Solo's Minecraft episode 18. For today's episode, I am going to venture back down into the mines, and I am going to convert one of the spawners that I have found down there, specifically the skeleton spawner, into a mob farm. I'm not going to reference any other videos or any other instructions in doing that, because I have done these enough times that I should be able to do it from memory. And if I can't, well, at least my mistakes will be entertaining. And I'll probably figure them out by the end of the video. One of the things that will be different this time compared to other times that I have made one of these farms is that I want the skeletons to be able to be killed either automatically or manually with me down there, for reasons that I will explain when we're doing that. The question for me there becomes whether I should use a campfire to be the automatic kill mechanism or a magma block. And I want to know as part of that whether or not a piston can push a campfire. I don't think it can. I think the campfire breaks if you do that. But I am going to try it instead of just looking it up because I'm too lazy to switch tabs. So let me just find the things I need to assemble a campfire, and find the things I need to assemble a piston. I think I need redstone for that. Will need to be a sticky piston either way. I'm just going to test this right out here. Sticky piston, lever. You cannot push campfire. That answers that. I could still use a campfire because you can put it out with a shovel and relight it with a flint and steel. So, campfire is still an option. In fact, let me just come back in here and find where I have hidden my flint and steel. There it is. And relight it. Now I'm torn. Now if I use the magma block, that I can push back and forth. So I could have the skeletons standing here when they wind up in the farm, and whether or not it's automatic would be changed by whether I had extended the piston with the magma block for them to stand on. Ow. I think for this farm design I am going to use the campfire and not the magma block, just because it's a little bit easier to arrange for hopper collection of items underneath a campfire. A regular hopper will collect items through a partial block, but will not collect it through a full block. If I wanted to collect items through a magma block, I would need to use a hopper minecart, and I think that's just going to complicate this farm design more than I really want to complicate it. So I'm going to put the lever and the sticky piston back in here with the rest of the redstone components and other things of that nature. Actually, there's a lot of stuff in this chest. I should probably organize it a little better than I have it organized right now. And I'm not going to make another campfire just yet. I will do that when I'm down in the mines, because I'm going to need a crafting table anyway. Why not just wait? Hopefully I have everything I need. I think the main thing I'm going to need is a pickaxe to dig out the area around the spawner, and weapons to fight off these skeletons. That one's not interested. So I will catch up with you at the spawner. Okay, here I am at the skeleton spawner. The entire area is lit up to prevent it from spawning anything. If you are not familiar with how these spawners work, you may want to read the explanation on the Minecraft wiki, or listen to another YouTuber who is better at technical things talk about it, because I am undoubtedly going to leave out some things. I am mostly going to focus on the points that are relevant to the farm design that I am using. I think there are 3, maybe 4 major points about how these spawners work that are relevant to how I am going to be doing this. One of them is the area in which these will try to spawn whatever they spawn, in this case skeletons. And in Java Edition, that is a 9 blocks wide, 9 blocks long, and 3 blocks high area centered on the spawner. So I need to clear all out everything in this layer here, because that is potential spawning area that is currently being occupied by blocks that it therefore can't spawn anything in. In the case of skeleton spawners, that will also mean that I need to leave the block, or the layer 2 blocks above the spawner clear, because skeletons won't spawn with their heads stuck in a block. But that is pretty much already done for me, so really I just have to leave this room more or less as it is. Right now this room goes about 3 blocks in most directions from the spawner, and I need it to go at least 4. I might push it to 5 because it doesn't really cripple the effectiveness of the spawner to have it larger than you need it. It does to have it smaller than you need it. The second thing that is relevant to my farm design is the fact that the spawners waive one of the usual rules for mob spawning, which is that they have to spawn standing on a block. Spawners will just spawn mobs in midair. I think that's the only one of the usual spawning rules that they ignore, but I could be wrong. The third thing that will be relevant is that when the spawner tries to spawn mobs, it will not spawn anything if it detects that there's more than a certain number of, in this case, skeletons, in a 9x9x9 area centered on the spawner. So if the skeletons that have already spawned are still within that area when it tries to make another spawning attempt, it won't spawn any. So I need to get them out of that area relatively quickly. The spawners make spawn attempts every 10 to 40 seconds, so it's going to be at least 10 more seconds once it has spawned one group before it tries to spawn another. So I don't have to get them out in a particular rush, but the faster they're out, the better. And to enable that, I'm going to make sure that when they spawn, they immediately drop out of that range. So they can't be within a 9-block area vertically centered on the spawner. That means they need to drop at least 4 blocks, but really their heads probably need to be out of that area as well. So I'm going to make sure that they drop, let's say 7 or 8 blocks. Then I'm going to have probably some water streams collecting them all into a central area where they can stand while they either burn to death on a campfire or get hit in the feet with my sword. Oh, and it was 4 relevant rules rather than 3. The 4th relevant mechanic for these is that a player needs to be within 16 blocks of them for them to spawn anything at all. So wherever I wind up standing when I'm trying to use this farm, it needs to be within 16 blocks of the spawner. So what I'm going to do is have my water streams that are flushing the skeletons into the kill chamber push them directly towards the middle of the area that I dig out under this spawner. That way, as long as I don't have them drop more than 16 blocks, which is already within the design parameters that I've laid out, I won't have any problems with me being too far away from the spawner for it to operate. Now all I need to do is clean out all this material around the spawner, so I'm going to get started on that, and I will cut back in when that's finished. Okay, welcome back. I have cleaned out a big hole in the ground. Around the edges of this hole is where I'm eventually going to place water, and I'm going to put something in this hole or over this hole, either a sign or a fence gate or something like that, to prevent the water from flowing actually into the hole, because I don't really want that. But the water will convey the skeletons to this hole and then into it, and will hopefully do that in a relatively efficient manner. And I will be standing down there waiting to hit their feet with a sword, or waiting for a campfire to burn them to death so that I can collect their drops. The next thing I will need to do to bring that about is get myself a way to get from that passage there down to there underneath the floor without actually going through the spawner area. So I'm going to climb back up there and dig myself a tunnel down to, I think the floor in this is y=10. So it's right at lava level. Fortunately, it'll be just high enough that I shouldn't be standing in any lava lakes while I'm trying to do this. I might uncover a few, though. I'm going to go over here and build myself a tower of dirt to get out, which is fine because I will have to get back into this area later to put down the water. And at some point, I will have to go around and break all these torches, because right now that is what is keeping skeletons from spawning and falling on my head, which I appreciate, because skeletons falling on my head is not desirable. Ever. My staircase down is now completed. I am going to widen this out much more than I have so far, but I'm going to wait until I'm off camera to do that. This is the hole the skeletons are going to drop into, and I'm going to arrange this so that they are standing on this block. I'm actually probably going to replace this block with a hopper, and then on top of that block, or on top of the hopper really at that point, I'm going to place the campfire. I have also just recalled that I did not bring any hoppers with me, or any iron, so I will have to probably go back upstairs to make some of that. I'm not going to hollow the rest of this out right now because, well, this recording's already at 45 minutes and I would like to get the whole thing finished. I can create cavities in the earth when I'm off camera. I'm going to go ahead and put a workbench and a furnace down in these corners here. Since I did actually find and mine some iron while I was digging that out, I see no reason why I shouldn't just use that instead of going back to the surface to get iron. Let me go ahead and get the campfire ready. Let me see, I need 5 iron ingots to make a hopper, and I really only need the 1. So I should be able to get what I need without having to go back upstairs. Need a chest. There's my 5 iron ingots. And there's my hopper. Oh, I'm going to... Crap. That wound up in the wrong spot. Well, I'm going to need another chest or 2. In fact, let's go ahead and make it a double chest for the hopper to feed into with the mob drops. Come on now. There we go. Just going to go ahead and make another campfire right away. Alright, let's remove this block. For now, I think I'm going to put the output chest back here, because if I put it facing the other way, it's going to be blocking me and making things difficult down here. So, for now it goes that way. Maybe I'll change that later. There's my campfire. If I want to put it out so that I can hit the skeletons with my sword, I can do that, and then I just need a flint and steel to relight it. Which actually, now that I think of it, probably means that I will need yet another chest to put down here to keep my flint and steel in. They don't tend to be an item that I run around with that much, so inevitably when I come down here needing to relight that, I will forget to bring one with me. For now, I'm just going to put this chest right here, put the flint and steel inside, and then I won't have to worry about it. And now I'm going to need to do the water up there. And before I even bother with that, I'm going to make sure that I bring a fence gate with me. I'm tempted to actually just install it from down here, but it's probably not a good idea. I may actually find that I need to lower this one more, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, the reason that is so important is that if I let water flow into that hole during this process, it will immediately put out the fire, which probably isn't that big a deal, but it will also wash away the torch that's down there, which could let other monsters spawn down there, and relighting the fire is just an extra step that I don't have to take. So I'm going to put a fence gate there and open it so that mobs can still fall through, but water will not be able to. See? Fire is still burning. I may actually need to move that fence up a level. In fact, I almost certainly will need to move that up one. Let me see where this... Nope, not quite. Let me see. Trying to remember how water physics works. I think I need to lift this water source up 1 block for it to really do what I'm trying to get it to do. Let's try that. That looks about more like it. I need another water source to make a temporary infinity pool, so I'm just going to put that up here and keep coming back and forth with it, just to make sure I don't screw up any of the water physics down there. I guess I'll put that over here because this is already conveniently located. And I am going to need a second water source, so I'm going to go find one of those now. I know I left some in the halls around here. There's one. do just fine. There. There, now I have my infinity pool. Let's get the rest of this water in here. I'm going to need one of these in each corner at least. I think I might need some in the middle too. Let's see, that goes to there. Actually, that's probably the last one I should put in so that I can keep building columns of dirt to get back out of here. As a matter of fact, maybe I should just build myself a dirt staircase for the time being. Ow, ow, ow. Well, crap. What was I hitting? Oh, you know what? I bet I cut out my fence gate. Well, that kill chamber was supposed to kill skeletons, not me. Oh well. Silly mistakes. And this is why I record all of this, just in case stuff like that happens. That way, when it inevitably does happen at some point, I get it on camera. My hopper system has helpfully gathered up all of my things for me, so the only thing that was lost was experience and pride. What happened there was I fell into the hole, landed on the fire, pulled out my pickaxe to try and break one of the walls out so that I could escape. That didn't really work because I was hitting the fence that my head was stuck in instead of the block. I switched to my axe to try and break the fire, and then I died. I'm going to go ahead and try to not do that again while I'm doing this, but it might happen. Okay, so I'm not going to get this middle block the way I need to unless I put a water source in the wall here, and that is probably going to wash over this, which I actually don't want. Let's go ahead and grab another water bucket and try it before I get ahead of myself and tear out the fence gate to move it one block up, though. I suppose I already got ahead of myself by falling in there and having to break it out then, but let's just ignore that. Yeah, we don't want water washing over the fence gate. We want the water stream to end at this block. That way, when the skeletons get to the end, they fall into the hole instead of slowly drifting down into it. And of course, the fence wound up down there. Let's see if I can get the chest from here. That was not what I had in mind. Okay, the answer is no. Alright, I went around, I got the gate back. Here's a dirt block to place it against. There's the gate. Now it's open. Good. Now that should prevent this water from washing. Yes. Prevents it from washing over that block, which is what we need. There, that is all my water sources. Hopefully I'm not going to have any problems with weird physics when I break that block. Oh, looks like it's all working fine. And eventually that block gets washed into the hole, which means that it should wind up being grabbed by the hopper and put in the chest down there. Okay, now for the tricky part. I need to re-enable this spawner by breaking all of these torches, and during that process, the spawner is going to start spawning skeletons in the space that I have now optimized for it to spawn them in. Which means inevitably they are going to try to shoot at me, and I need to break all of these and get back here to safety without getting shot off of whatever I'm using for scaffolding and falling into the hole again. Maybe I should put all my items down for this. I'm going to put all my items down for this. Okay, the only things I still have with me are the dirt blocks that I'm going to use to scaffold my way around the room, and my shield so that I can block incoming arrow fire. If I were building this on a server, I would probably build in redstone lamps to light up this area whenever I flick a switch. That way, those lamps would then disable the spawner. Since this is a single player world, I'm not going to bother with that. Especially since redstone lamps require glowstone to make, and I don't have any glowstone right now. Ah, crap. See, that's exactly what I was worried about. And now, since he sees me, he is trying to pathfind towards me, so he is not falling into the hole like I would really prefer for him to do. One thing I forgot to do ahead of time, which I regret very much now that I'm being shot at, is put blocks on top of this spawner. The reason to do that is that is valid spawning space. So the spawner will spawn mobs on top of itself, and those will not fall into the hole the way you are trying to get all of them to do. You'll have to rely on them naturally pathfinding off, which they don't usually do. I wish this guy would run out of ammo. He's not going to, though, so I'm going to try to reach out there and get a couple of blocks on top of the spawner. Not sure if I can get close enough. Oh, and another one spawned. Hey, that one actually fell in, though. Which is good. That's what we want. If I'm very careful here, I can block his arrows right back into him and maybe kill him that way. Hey, trick shot skeleton kill. Kill the skeleton with my shield. Alright, let's reach out here and get this done quickly. There. Not the most elegant, but it'll do. Oh, nuts. I forgot to break off the torches on the other side of the spawner. Well. Okay. Let's get out of here, shall we? Ah. Oh, crap. Well. This is why we put everything down before we went in there. Let me see. Do I have any more dirt up here that I can take down with me? Not really. So what I would like to do is just bridge straight out to those, or to the spawner and break off those last couple of torches. Here, wool will do. That's easy to break. Okay, I made it back. Now let's see if I can make it out there before I get shot to my death again. 1, 2, good. Yeah. Okay, break that torch, break that torch. There, spawner is isolated. Now all I have to do is come down here and collect the drops. There, that's working quite well. Turn down hostile mob sounds a little bit so that these guys wouldn't be so obnoxious as they burn to death. You can see that this is already producing bones and arrows, which is what we want. Okay, I have gotten my equipment back in order for the second time this episode. These guys have been consistently just dying next to me for, well, quite a while. Which is exactly what's supposed to happen. This chest is slowly filling up with bones and arrows. I mainly want this spawner farm for the arrows. You can see we've already gotten 34 from the number of skeletons that have died so far. Now I won't have to buy them from my Fletcher, even. I will just have to come down here to get arrows, which is great for somebody like me that prefers to do archery and also prefers to use a mending bow instead of infinity, constantly running out of arrows. The reason I wanted this to be able to be a manual as well as automatic farm, which it is currently manual since I put the fire out, is so that it can operate not only as a resource farm but as an experience farm. With mending tools, you need a way to repair them, and that often gets to be a bit of a hassle if you're working on a large project and consistently burning through the durability of your mending tools. You need somewhere to go where you can generate a fair amount of experience quickly in order to repair them. This is definitely not the most efficient way to do that, but it is better than the other alternatives I have right now, which is basically using furnaces to try and farm experience. That doesn't work well at all. And until I have the time and ability to get some of the better experience farms set up, this will do completely adequately. There, that didn't take too long. I repaired all the durability that was missing on my pickaxe and got myself a couple extra levels to boot. Now the other reason for allowing this to be a manual farm, well, it didn't happen at all this time, but the skeletons that have equipment will sometimes drop that when they are killed by a player. And especially if that is enchanted with enchantments that you don't particularly want, you are able to remove those enchantments with a grindstone, and you get experience from that as well. So, a skeleton mob farm, or a skeleton spawner farm is one of the better early game experience farms. And that is exactly what I will be using it for, at least some of the time. I will do some more work on this farm off-screen to expand this area and organize it a little bit. I will probably be putting some storage down here for bones and arrows. Long term, I will probably try to set up a system of water streams that will transfer some of this stuff to the Undercroft without us having to do much else. But that's for the future. For now, this will be more than enough to let me repair my mending tools and get experience to make more of them. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel to see more content from me, and if you'd like to help my channel grow, please share it with your friends. Goodbye and God bless.